Guys, there is a big problem. A young lady doing her NYSC in Ondo State reached out to me to share one of the worst experiences she suffered in the hands of the Nigerian police. And the worst part about this situation is, it could have been any one of us. If you are in Nigeria and you use a Nigerian SIM card, this story is important to you. So the young lady who goes by the name of Danica on TikTok, but her real name is Mariam Titilayo Ibrahim. She is said to be living in Ilorin, but during her NYSC she was posted to Cross River State. However, due to some health situations, she was redeployed to Ondo State where she's currently serving. Now, Mariam also has a side business where she sells female underwears with the bra, the lingeries and all of that. And on this day, the 16th of October 2025, she got a text message on her WhatsApp business page from a customer requesting to buy one of the underwears she had posted in the catalog. The customer selected 2. A few minutes later, this customer texts Mariam and tells her that she's at the bank and that Mariam should come deliver the things she bought at the hotel she had lodged at in Akure with her husband. Mariam replies this woman and tells her that that won't be necessary because she has a delivery man. She has a dispatch rider that will do that delivery, that she herself only sells. She doesn't go to do the deliveries. According to Mariam, when she responded that she would send a delivery guy, the woman read it but did not respond. A few hours later, the woman responded and texted Mariam that she should not send the delivery guy, that she herself will come to Mariam to collect the underwears and then asked Mariam to send her address. And Mariam thought this was odd, but she's a businesswoman and so she got to do what she had to do. So she texted the woman the address to the estate gate, not to her house directly. And a few hours later, the woman texted her that she's at the gate and Mariam should come with the things she had bought from her hand. And Mariam goes to the estate gate, sees the woman, and at first glance, she knew that the underwear that she had would not fit her because the woman she saw was on the plus side. Mariam and the woman starts to talk, and Mariam starts to tell the woman that she had other lingeries her size and began showing the woman on her phone some of the pictures of the other ones that would fit her. The woman is going through Mariam's phone to look at some of the options for her to buy, and then a young man comes around, seemingly to be with this woman, and introduces himself as a police officer to Mariam. Mariam greets the officer and she's not even thinking too much of it. She continues talking with the woman, and somewhere along the line, the woman shows her badge and tells Mariam that she is a police officer and Mariam is under arrest. And Mariam is confused and asks why is she under arrest, and they tell her that they will talk about it in the station, that she should just follow them to the station. This was a shock to her, according to her, and she didn't have any family members there, and she requested to call her family to tell them the situation, but they wouldn't give her her phone because the woman was with the phone, remember, swiping, looking for lingeries, or maybe looking for more evidence of what they thought they were coming to find. She then requested that she goes and change, and then she was allowed to. They even followed her to her lodge or her apartment where she changed. And when they came back to get into the car, she saw 2 other police officers who joined them. So it was her, 3 men and a woman, all police officers. She was taken to the police headquarters in Akure in Ondo State. And then she got to learn that the other 2 officers who later joined them in the ride were officers directly from Abuja, from the Force Intelligence Department, sent down to Ondo State to arrest her. Up until this moment, she still don't know why she's being arrested. When she got to the station, the officers who were with her mobile phone gave it to the officers who had come from Abuja. Then they handed her a paper, a printed paper that contained phone numbers, locations, dates, and names. And when she looked at the paper in front of her, she could recognize some of the phone numbers there to be that of her friends and family, even her mother's phone number. And when she observed the locations too, she realized that these are locations that she had been in the last few months. The paper contained the time and date and the location she was when she had to go and see her sister in Ilorin, when she went to see her parents in Osun State, when she went for her biometrics, when she went for her CDS, when she goes to her PPA. And it was clear that she had been tracked by the intelligence department for a very long while, that they've been tracking her, all her movements, and everyone she spoke to. She even mentioned that her mother's phone number was named Soft Target, while hers was labeled Main Target. This already looks like an interrogation room from a movie scene, because what is going on here? Even at this point, she still don't know what this is about. This is the nightmare of the situation. She's still confused as to why were they tracking her? Like, how important is she? Like, what has she even done? She's lost of words. Eventually, she finally got the answer she was looking for. Somewhere along the line, they finally told her that the reason why they're arresting her was because the phone number that she had to her name was used to commit a crime in January of 2024. They let her know that sometime in January of 2024, somewhere in Ebonyi State, somebody was kidnapped by kidnappers, and those kidnappers used the phone number that she now possesses. That is her phone number. That was the number they were using to speak to the victim's family, trying to get ransom, getting information. That was the phone numbers of the kidnappers, and that somehow, some way, the victim was also killed. And since then, the police have been tracking the kidnappers, and that is how they tracked it down to her. So at this point, they're letting her know that they believe she has ties with the kidnappers, she knew the kidnappers, or she was the kidnapper, because it's the same phone number. They've been tracking it up until this point. And then she let them know that she had actually only gotten this phone number earlier in 2025, in April of 2025 to be specific, that it's a new SIM she bought and registered this year, 2025. Which means that in 2024, she did not have this number. The number belonged to someone else. And I think this is where a lot of us need to be very careful. And now know that network providers in Nigeria are recycling phone numbers. If you're not using your phone number or your SIM card for a while, they'll give somebody else your phone number. And I think this is what has put this girl in this trouble. They literally gave her the phone number of somebody who had used it to commit crime. And now she's paying for it, barely 1 year after. But that's the thing with the Nigerian police. It's usually a process with them. She explained to them during her interrogation that she was posted to Cross River State, but she had an ulcer condition that had to make them bring her a lot closer to home at least. And without even telling her anything, she was put on a motorcycle, taken to a hospital. Multiple tests was run on her. They checked her height, her weight, blood pressure. They checked everything, gave her a prescription, and that was when she realized that they were trying to check if at all she did have the chronic ulcer that she said she did. And the medical team confirmed that, yeah, she indeed had the ulcer, which means she wasn't lying. Then she stayed in the hospital. Apparently, she slept in the hospital. She was arrested in the hospital, basically. She was not allowed to leave the hospital despite everything. I think they just kept her there, and they told her that they were going to take her to Abuja the next day. They will fly her to Abuja because they are still investigating the whole situation. And when the next day came, before they would fly her out, they agreed to go to the network provider to figure out if indeed she actually bought the SIM card earlier this year. And that was how they went to Airtel office. When they got there, they asked for her phone number, her SIM, her NIN. Airtel officials, they were able to bring out her information, and they were also able to confirm that she's telling the truth, that she registered the SIM card in April of 2025. However, though, when they checked the phone number on Truecaller, it gave them a different name. A strange name, Abdul Wariz, is what shows on the Truecaller. And that was sort of confusing. Her name is not Abdul Wariz, so it did not make sense that she was the one being named on Truecaller that owned the number. But thankfully, Airtel was able to confirm that she actually did buy the SIM card that same year in 2025 and in April for that matter. But the police, even upon seeing this, were still not satisfied. They requested for the SIM card. She asked her sister to waybill it, but before it could come, the police officer had already collected her mobile phone, her Wi-Fi provider, a smaller phone. They took it with them to Abuja, and they asked her to come on the 6th of was it November, to come face the panel there, to come continue the investigation, that they will pay her flights. At this point, she had spoken to her mom and her lawyers and her sister, so they knew the situation. Now, from here onwards, it was now what was she supposed to do? Eventually, though, it was clear that the police figured out that she is not the one that they were looking for. My first thought is, if this could happen to her, it's going to happen to more people. It's going to happen to many more people, especially people who are going to be buying new SIM cards and registering new phone numbers from here onwards. Because kidnapping right now is on a high. The high rate of kidnapping we're seeing now, and I don't believe these kidnappers are dumb enough to continue using the same phone numbers. And when they don't use a particular SIM card for a long time, that phone number goes to someone else. And this is being done by the network providers. They are recycling phone numbers over and over again. So someone right now is most likely going to buy the phone number of somebody who had committed a big crime many years ago.